Welcome to the final session of Ad Adda 2020, organized by the Department of Media Science, the Heritage Academy, supported by ABP Education. and Smriti Srinivasan, your host for the session. Well, our final guest for the evening asked me to introduce him as Notorious, but for us, he will always be the guru of advertising, the man who revolutionized the advertising industry in India. Whether it is the Britannia Sting Ting Ting or Maggie Ketchup, it's different. He has played a major role in creating brand identity and brand building. He is one of the few directors to create international commercials for clients like Unilever and PepsiCo and has received several awards for his work, including the Lifetime Achievement Award from IAAFA for his contribution for advertising and film art. I would take the honor to welcome Mr. Prahlad Kakkar, founder and ad film director, Genesis Film Productions, founder Laka Dice, co-founder Reef Watch Marine Conservation, and chairman of Prahlad Kakkar School of Branding and Entrepreneurship. We are glad to have you here with us today, sir.
Thank you. And the long drawn out litany of all my achievements is all load of rubbish. The only thing that matters is that when they gave me the Lifetime Achievement Award, they were hoping like hell that I would then retire to the Himalayas and leave them alone. And my speech was written, my acceptance speech was written on a roll of toilet paper, and it rolled off the desk and fell into the audience and unraveled itself. And I ended my speech at that moment. It said, "Shit, there goes my speech."
What a way to receive lifetime achievements, sir.
Well, they were hoping like hell that it would encourage me to quickly retire and say I'm hanging up my boots and whatever else I'm going to hang up, and go off to the Himalayas. So, and mountains are not my scene; they are my wife's scene, and she comes from the mountains. She comes from Darjeeling. I come from the sea. So they thought that okay, I would retire to the sea. I'd go to the Lakshadweep Island and never come back, or something like that. But much to their dismay, I mean, I came back like a bad penny and refused to leave.
Of course,
So there
sir.
you are.
And
So
we are
that is
glad
this.
that you are still here to guide us. And we are really happy that you're here with us today. And the students are really excited to hear from you and learn from you today. So before moving on to our first question, I would request our Dean, Professor Dr. Madhupa Bakshi, to say a few words and then we can move forward.
Just to give you a brief introduction, we are a part of the Heritage Group of Institutions, and we are the Heritage Academy, where we have our undergrad, BBA, BCA courses, and also our Media Department of Media Science. I happen to set up this department. This is just about 4 years old. And way back when I met you in 2011, one of my dreams was to allow the students to have a session with you. Today, in this world of pandemic, of course, this is the only way we can have it. Sooner or later, when it goes off, then we would look forward to having you here. And also, my senior management would love to have you on campus. They have expressed that opinion. So, welcome, sir. Welcome to the Heritage Group of Institutions. Welcome to Heritage Academy. And let us have some good fun now for the next 1 hour.
Aren't you a bit scared of what I might say to these young kids and completely turn their
I
ideas from
have,
what they've been
I
learning?
have. They are eager for you. They are kids who are responsible. They know their minds. I don't think I can prevent them from listening to you, even if I wanted to. Let them enjoy you, and let
See,
them enjoy what you.
let me explain to the kids. Remember one thing. However respectable advertising tries to behave, and how many ever MBAs they recruit into advertising to give it a good image. Remember, the origins are from Pavlov. Do you know Pavlov?
Yes.
Pavlov trained and conditioned some dogs to respond to stimulus like ringing a bell and giving them food and salivating and all sorts of things. Okay. So I suggest you read Pavlov because that is what advertising is based on. It's based on conditioning of the mind. It's based on trying to create a consumer need when you actually don't need it. Okay.
Won't you
It's
talk
based
of
on,
Freud? Won't you talk of
okay,
Freud?
of course, about Freud, but I'm all about Freud. So I don't need to talk about it. It shows in my work.
Okay.
But
Okay.
Pavlov, the art of brainwashing was then improved enormously after what Pavlov did by Hitler's people, which was Himmler, because he
Yes.
was the
Yes.
minister for advertising
Yes.
and propaganda. And he
Yes.
managed
Yes.
to brainwash an entire nation into believing that they were a superior
Absolutely.
race. I mean,
But
just
that is
imagine.
also the start of communication research. That
True.
began the communication research. That was it's strangely it was a political scenario that started it. And if you
But it
relate
is.
it today,
But if you realize that today is a political scenario where you have paid for people who actually criticize people on the net, and people like Tata have actually got scared and removed an ad because they felt that all these guys who are against the ad are actually real consumers, not realizing that they all paid for and it's all a political agenda. Exactly what
absolutely.
Hitler did. So there you are.
Okay.
Okay,
So, sir, with
how do you kids intend to counter sledging and just generally criticism on the net for the sake of criticism, or when you are paid to do it, or when it's an agenda? So how do you come with a counter to that? You're the only hope we
Okay.
have.
Anybody answering? Anybody answering? Anybody who is going to take on that question?
Mahul sir came in. Mahul sir, you would like to answer?
No, no,
Now
no,
tell me,
no. Yeah.
how does a corporation like Tanishq, which is a Tata's organization, who advertising for the last couple of years has been for social change. And if they bring in a film which talks about interreligious marriages, which is a social change, and then they get sledged for it online, and it is it is a choreographed, unique kind of sledging because their repertoire of words used are so similar to each other that you know that it is
It's the
from
same
one
narrative.
group. Yes,
Yeah.
exactly, and that is not spontaneous. That is not from consumers. So how do you strengthen their resolve to turn around and say, no, we are going to carry on?
Uh, Prahlad, the only issue is that I am part of the Tata Group, so I don't think I should. I am in a position to respond to that
You are.
because yeah. So I I will not. But the point is that uh, brand management has become very tough because of the number of channels that have opened up and which has
No,
exposed
no. I'm
us
talking
to
about I'm
a
talking
lot
about
of.
concentrated sledging, which is with a political agenda where you don't want to have harmony between religious what do you call factors. You want polarization because you think that polarization is going to help you perpetuate your rule in a country like ours. And we've been seeing that consistently in the last 6-7 years. And it's a probably a brilliant political dogma, and it's a brilliant way to say that okay, we happen to be an 80% majority, and even if we get 50% of that 80% batting on our side, we have won the war. So
It is
it's
tough.
only up to you. It's only up to you young people to actually turn on and find a counter where you turn on and say we do not want to be brainwashed by premeditated and political agendas, especially when it comes to products.
No, absolutely, I
What?
agree. I agree. I
Yes,
agree.
sir,
The
Yes,
but
yes,
issue
yes,
is for us,
definitely, definitely.
all of us to
also,
stand
sir,
and
No, but
do that.
I'll tell you something. See, if you look at it in the broad spectrum of this country, we have one leader who leads a particular faction. Okay, and everybody rallies around whatever he says, whether you believe in him or not. Most of the time, you listen to what he's saying, right? In the opposition, when you want to criticize some things that the government wants to do, there is no leadership. Who do you go to for advice? Who do you go to for communication? So unless you find yourselves a leader who can actually have a voice among young people to oppose the agenda of a government which might not be suitable to it's all going to be scattered. There is going to be no impact because there's no flag. which you can rally to. So unless this country finds a leader to actually be the opposing side and who's credible and who has a certain amount of following, we are going to be in a one-way tube, whether you like it or you're not, because it is going to be for majoritism. Okay, and it's great if you're a part of the majority, and God help you if you're not. Basically. So among the young people below the age of 25 or 30, even below the age of 30, I suggest you look for somebody who you will, who can actually rally you to a single point of getting together and organizing yourself. Just exactly like the present incumbent government is done to itself. They are very organized. They have a very definite leader. He has a huge following, and everybody else is scattered. And if anybody is even dangerously organized, he's put in jail.
Everything right now that is going along our mind with the pandemic is that whether post pandemic we'll be capable enough to get into a company or not, whether we'll be able to get a job that would secure us or not.
Perish the thought. Your ambition shouldn't be to be a knocker all your life. Your ambition should be to employ knockers.
But sir, yes, sir,
No,
definitely.
Smriti, can I butt in and just say he was never a knocker. He was never a knocker, and also it was in I think if I'm right, somewhere in 1970-71, he formed his first production company, right?
Genesis, yes.
Yes.
72, I guess.
So, and you know what? We should draw inspiration from him, because at that point of time there were hardly any production companies, and I think the model of business that he did at that time, very few have done it from that time onwards, and has done such beautifully that other people have followed.
No, I got lucky, but that's not the point. The point is, my advice to all you kids is that don't think of taking up jobs because there's a package at the end of the dangle. Okay? Don't sell your soul for a package. If you have to sell your soul, let us sell it to the devil. It's more fun.
Sure, sir. I'll keep that in mind.
More dangerous.
So
more dangerous.
Always remember that if you're not having fun doing whatever work that you're doing, by the time you're 35, you're burnt out. You're looking for an escape route. For the girls, it's very easy because nobody expects them to bring home the bacon. You can keep bellowing papads at home, and everybody thinks you're great.
You're wrong. You're wrong.
It's terrible. Can you imagine?
I'm sorry.
For a guy, if he puts his wife to work and sister looking after the children and changing nappies, what do people think of him in a society like ours? Say, Ghar Jawai hai. The name for them is Ghar Jawai.
But that is what we have. That stereotype only we have to break, no, sir. That is why youngsters are working.
Look at the pressure for a guy who's 35 years old, like Mr. Brahma, who suddenly realizes he hates his job and he wants to get away and start his own business, and he's neck deep in EMIs and he's trapped. And he has a demanding wife. He has 2 demanding children who want to study abroad, and he has EMIs on his house. And the only faithful person who doesn't expect anything from him is his dog. So what are you going to do? Tell me. So it's a trap. And remember that this whole business of campus placements and going for jobs and getting packages and feeling very thrilled because my package is bigger than your package. It's like you're behaving like, adult men. Only men turn around and say mine's bigger than yours.
So my first question to you would be, sir, that you wanted me to, introduce you as a notorious person. But so have you been this way since childhood, or did advertising had some role to play?
Okay, all my life, I have worked extremely hard to never be somebody who can expect something from me. You know, so every time somebody expects something from me, I always manage to deliberately disappoint them. So when somebody wants me to come for on time for a meeting on a particular date, I come bang on time the next day. Okay, so why you break that whole business of expectation and deliveries is that you need latitude in a creative area. You need to be free to jump in either direction depending on what you believe in. Okay, there's sometimes when you take a script from a client who has researched it till the cows come home, and you want to actually execute it, and when you're sitting on the set and you're actually shooting it, you realize it's a turkey. Nobody's laughing at the jokes. It's horrible. So you have to rewrite the script right on the set without losing the mind of what the strategy for the brand is.
Yeah.
Okay, staying within the strategy, staying within the thing, you have to immediately rewrite, because you can't turn around and tell the client at the end of the day, it was your script, I did exactly what you asked me to do. You cannot absolve yourself of that kind of responsibility. Today, everybody's doing that. Everybody wants the client to sign off on a script because they want to absolve themselves of the responsibility of making it work. The responsibility of making it work is the final execution, which is the filmmaker. If the filmmaker realizes it's not working, he has to take a call on it, because he can't turn around and take that same piece of shit which he's got and give it back to the client, who turn around and says, but this is not making sense. And he turn around and says, see, I've done it exactly as per your storyboard. Storyboards don't make films. And research does not give you accuracy. Now with AI, you might get a little accuracy, but in the old days, research had a plus minus of 30%, which means a 60% margin of error. How are you going to base your strategy on research? So finally, if you go to an MBA, you ask any MBA, okay, are you guys going to be MBAs when you finish?
No, I'm not able.
What kind of degree are you going to get?
I'm getting a post-graduation degree in mass communication currently.
In mass communication. Good for you.
Yes.
So you can live up to that. If you're an MBA, for 3 years, all you're taught as an MBA in any institution in the world, including Harvard, is if you have a gut reaction, take a purgative. And mass communication only works on the gut, because
Yes.
no facts or figures are actually available to you to judge whether this is going to work or not. Except
It
yourself.
is more about emotions, storytelling,
No,
what
no.
comes
It's
from
about
within.
hearts and minds. Advertising,
Yeah.
good advertising is all about hearts and minds. It's not about logic. And research can only give you logic. That 2 plus 2 is equal to 4. If in advertising, if 2 plus 2 is equal to 4, you're mediocre. It has to be 22.
I was just about to say.
Yes. So if you don't aim for 22, how are you going to come to 16? How are you going to come to 14? How are you going to come to 19 or 18? You will be stuck at 4. So if you're stuck at 4, everybody says, you're mediocre. Sab aa rahe hain is pe. Everybody is the same. In the night, all cats are grey.
It's the
Right.
key is to be out of the box.
You don't, not just out of the box. Use your instinct and have courage enough to turn on and fight off everybody else who's just shoving research on your face. And if necessary, do it the way I did it. And I'll tell you how I did it. When I first started my career, I decided that what the client was talking about in a PPM was complete rubbish. It wasn't going to work because it was research based. So I nodded my head and never argued. I never said, but sir, can we do it this way? Nothing. I said, fine, you're brilliant. What a brilliant script. Let's do it. Okay. Went to the studio and shot it 2 ways. Shot it my way and shot it their way. Now it takes a little courage. It takes a little bit of money. Okay, because shooting 2 films instead of 1 for the same cost as 1, it is going to cost you money. But you need to create a credibility about your own instinct. You need to believe in yourself. So the only way you can believe in yourself is by doing what you believe in also, and seeing them back to back and seeing which works better.
Exactly.
Okay?
Giving them a comparison about
Yes.
what they shared and what you have in mind.
What instinct you had. And
Yeah.
if you had actually argued with them to do it your way at that meeting, the meeting would go on for 1 month.
Yeah.
Okay? So the
And
best way to
and
save
plus they
time,
would have not even accepted it when you would
true.
have shown it to
And
them.
you would have
Yeah.
just died of lack of water because you'd be desperately trying to engage with them. So
Mm.
the whole best way to do it is to agree. And go out, take their money, and do it exactly the way you want to, and do it both ways. Okay, for the first 5 years, I did it both ways.
Okay.
On my 6th year, I said, I'm not doing it their way at all. I'm only doing it my way. So
And
by
so
that
it
time,
worked because
by
yeah.
that time, I had built up enough body of work to turn around and say, hey guys, I'm right 90% of the time. You're wrong 90% of the time. So let's just do it my way. And 1 or 2 clients actually understood that. One of
Yeah.
them was TTK Industries, which is Prestige pressure cooker, where we gave
Yes.
them the line, जो बीबी से करे प्यार,
जो
वो Prestige से
प्यार
कैसे
वो
करे
प्रेस्टीज से कैसे
इनकार.
करे इनकार.
That was
Yes.
the line I gave them 25 years ago. Okay. The second client was Vibha Rishi from Pepsi, who turned around and I used to tell on the phone, Vibha, this script is not working, we're doing it our way. And she said, are you sure? I said, yes. She said, okay. And that was it. So let me show you a film of what we did our way versus what they wanted to do. Okay. So take in the film that you have, there's a Pepsi mask film with Sachin Tendulkar. See, this film was given to us and then withdrawn because they didn't have time because there's a World Cup coming on. They wanted to do a World Cup film. And they said, we don't have time or the money for this. So I told Vibha, we love this script. घुमड़ घुमड़ कर जीरा गरजे दिल ये डोले झूम के बोले तारे छूले प्यास बड़ी है आगे बढ़ ले अरे खोल के बंधन तोड़ के डाले ये दिल मांगे मोर ये दिल मांगे मोर. Aha. The sound for me was terrible, but I hope for you all it was much better.
Yes. It's perfect.
Yeah. Because
Yes.
I'll tell
Yes.
you why.
Yes.
The story of this film was that they cancelled the film because they said, no, we'll do the World Cup film. And we begged and pleaded with Vibha and said, let us do this film because our kids are actually seeing it very clearly. So she said, I don't have any money. I said, whatever money you have, you can give me. We'll do the film. And I had already talked to Sachin because he was living in my building. And I talked to him on the lift and said that I need half an hour of your time for this film. And it's going to be a winner. It's all about you. And you are only there for exactly 1 shot or 2 shots. So he said, what kind of film is that? So I said, this is the film. And he agreed. So he came quietly in his car, got into the vanity. Nobody knew he was there. The kids didn't even know that Sachin was there. We shot them with the Sachin masks, everything. And I told my cameraman, I said, see, you're going to get 1 shot of these kids reacting to knowing Sachin is with them. Because they're not actors, they're just busty children. Okay? So if you miss that moment, I will kill you. So he said, okay. And he was all prepared. And Sachin lifted his mask. And all the kids looked at him. And you saw the expression on their faces. Those were real expressions. They couldn't believe that it was Sachin. Their eyeballs almost popped out of their heads. Because nobody told them Sachin was going to be there. Okay, we saw the film. We edited the film looking absolutely fabulous. But everybody realized that there was something missing in the film because it wasn't being connected together. So we decided to put a sound to it. So we said, there's no jingle, let's put a jingle on it. So Zap, who was the copywriter at that time on that brand, he wrote 1 line of the jingle. He said, Tod de tale, khol de bandhan, ye dil mange mo. Okay. We took that 1 line and we said, okay, let's extend this into a jingle. So everybody said, who? And they all came up with the name saying, the name is Raghuveer Yadav. So I looked at them and said, we have to deliver the film in 1 week. Raghuveer Yadav is sitting somewhere in Madhya Pradesh. Where are you going to go running around after him and get him down to Bombay and let him and book a studio and sing with him? Just find somebody who can sing like Raghuveer Yadav and catch him here in Bombay, do it. There's lots of talent. And went off. The kids went into huddle, and after a week they called me in. The film is ready. We can show to Vibha. I went there and saw the film. And I said, wow, brilliant. See, you didn't need Raghuveer Yadav. And they all looked at me very sheepishly and said, it is Raghuveer Yadav. So they had disobeyed a direct order. Okay. And my temper is massive on the set. Believe me, I can eat you alive. So, despite that, they disobeyed a direct order, went looking for Raghuveer Yadav, found him, flew him to Bombay, recorded the jingle. Because why? I realized this 2 days later, after my anger came down. I realized that they owned the film. They weren't doing a job. They owned the job.
Okay.
That is the difference between a creative field and a non-creative field. Is that you own your job. You don't do something that you've been told to do. You own what you're doing. You're possessive about it. You don't want to let it go. You don't want to compromise it. You don't want to even exchange one little bit for what you think is right. And it doesn't matter who tells you what, including the client.
Yes, sir. If you hold to your instincts and can prove it to the client, then any day that is a better way to go. That satisfies you creatively as well as the client.
It's not a better way. It's a very tough way, because it takes a lot of courage and a deep pocket. You can wash all your profits off. So in the beginning of your career, if you can afford not to make shitloads of money, and if you can afford to invest in your own credibility as a professional, then after 5 years of struggling, you will be free of anything, especially coming on time.
With that thought in mind, sir, my next question to you would be,
So now, is there enough light on my face?
yes, sir. I think that was the issue.
No, the issue was
More than the internet.
Everybody's voice was crackling.
Okay.
Okay, so you want to watch the film again to see all the little nuances in the film. There were two things. We had a huge argument with the client about what kind of kids do we show in the film. And the team felt that they should be busty kids. And the client felt that they should be high-rise kids, normal kids who drink Pepsi. They said that these busty kids can't afford Pepsi. So we are showing them the wrong target audience. So we said it's more than just a target audience. What we are talking about is a dream. Because what is your line? Your line is Dil Mange Mo. What does that mean? Does it mean that your Dil Mange Mo Pepsi? Or does it mean more out of life? So whose is the bigger dream? A boy who lives in a high-rise and who has everything and drinks Pepsi every day? And a little kid in a basti who gets to drink Pepsi once a month because somebody gives it to him. Okay? But he dreams of being Sachin Tendulkar when he grows up. So whose is the bigger dream? A kid who has everything and can be anything? And a kid who has nothing but wants to be Sachin Tendulkar?
Exactly.
So
it has more value.
So no, he has a bigger dream. It's a bigger dream. It's a much more real dream. Okay, the rich kid becomes Sachin Tendulkar or doesn't become Sachin Tendulkar, it doesn't really matter. He wants to be like his father. He doesn't want to be like a Sachin Tendulkar. Okay, but the poor kid wants to get out of the basti, wants to play cricket for India, and wants to be an icon like Sachin Tendulkar. That's a real dream. So when I explained this to Vibha, her answer was that that's not a fair answer. That's not a fair question. Whose is the bigger dream? So I said, life isn't fair, Vibha. What are you talking about? If life was 2 + 2 = 4, everybody would be, a millionaire.
Exactly.
If dreams were what you call horses, everybody would ride. So
exactly, sir.
So the fact is that she allowed us to make the film with basti kids. She says, my job is at stake. Just be very careful that they look clean, at least they look bathed. So we scrubbed them and bathed them and all that sort of thing. Gave them school uniforms. But they were basti kids and they were playing under a tree. There's no getting away from the fact that these were busty kids. Okay, so we won that argument. Then she didn't know we were putting a jingle, and I didn't know that these jokers would go the extra mile to get Raghuveer Yadav, but he made a difference because the jingle is absolutely outstanding. It made the film. So watch it once more. So look out for the expressions of the kids. Because they're not
Yeah.
घुमड़ घुमड़ कर जीरा गरजे दिल ये डोले झूम के बोले तारे छूले प्यास बड़ी है आगे बढ़ ले अरे खोल के बंधन तोड़ के ताले ये दिल मांगे मोर ये दिल मांगे मोर.
This film, in my opinion, was the most successful film that Pepsi has ever made. And it was a film that nobody wanted. Okay, so sometimes you have to believe in what you say and what you do, because that belief makes that whole thing come together and comes to life in a manner which touches other people's lives. If you want to touch somebody else's life with your advertising, then you have to believe in your advertising as implicitly as you can without being cynical about it. So you have to be very clear there. Yeah, it doesn't matter how much money you offer. Never do a product that you don't believe in, because it will show in the execution.
That is a tip for the student for sure. Like the students here understood that being an ad filmmaker in itself is a difficult task, and on top of that, convincing a client to take up the work that they prefer to do is also a big task ahead. So that is a really good tip for the students. Moving on to the next question, sir. I have heard a few interviews of you, and you said that you love making you love telling a story in 30 seconds in the most effective manner. So what would be your tips to the students to create something effective and engaging in 30 seconds?
See, remember one thing: when you tell a story in 30 seconds, it has to be very single-minded. And clients want 5 points of their product brought into one film. And you have to tell them right from the beginning, I'm sorry, we can make 5 films for you. One with each highlight. But if you want an effective 20-seconder or a 30-seconder, eventually you go to edit it into a 20-second. It shouldn't end up looking like an abortion.
Exactly. Yes,
So
yes,
if
definitely.
you don't want it to look like an abortion, we will, at our cost, try and make you we'll shoot you 3 films of all these 5 points that you've given us, and we'll include 2 points in each film so that the story of the film becomes strong. Because if there are 5 touch points in the film that we need to touch on, it'll be neither here nor there. It'll just be figures, facts and figures. We can do this, this, and this. And we also can do this. So where's the story? So how many times can you watch that commercial? Why should you have a story? You should have a story because your life of your commercial is 6 months. So if you're going to watch a commercial at least once a day for 6 months, it must be entertaining.
Yeah.
It must be meaningful. If it's just facts and figures, then you watch it once and then say, "Yaar, pakao mat, take it off."
Exactly. I completely agree with you, sir, because I have been in the audience and then watched advertisements which after a point of time I could not tolerate. And so moving on to the next question, I would like...
And there is an action replay going on in a cricket match, and suddenly you break into the commercial and you feel so angry, turn and say, "Arey, hata yaar, go back to the action replay." You know? So,
That's...
and the cricket match is the most widely watched matches. Look at the IPL today. You get half a chance, there's an appeal, and the appeal goes up to the third umpire, and before you can play it on the screen, your commercial comes on.
Exactly, sir. I completely agree with you.
So if the commercial's not worth it, no, everybody gets irritated. It has a negative response.
Yes.
Okay, now the client is a MBA who is in his first job after 1 year. He's been made a product manager. He's been taught in MBA that you have to have a list of things that your commercial. What is your screen objective? What is your product objective? What is your frame objective? What color are they wearing? What they're wearing? So if you have a good story, it doesn't matter.
Exactly.
And it has to be relevant to the brand. So when you kids look at brands, you must understand one thing. A brand is not an inanimate object. A brand is not just a name. A brand is a person. It has human values. It has courage. It has truth. It has honesty. It has a sense of humor. It has a capacity to laugh at itself. It sometimes it's wrong. Sometimes it's right. But it's human. But there's certain brand values that you decide on right in the beginning of the brand, that these are the values that I'm going to enshrine the brand with. Now you can change the whole brand texture as years go on. People start talking different languages. So before that you say yar, now you say dude. Hey dude, you don't say dude. It's a dude. So language changes, values to a certain extent change, but the basic human values don't change. Honesty, integrity, professionalism doesn't change. Okay,
The discipline does not change.
Yeah, the brand is a person that never grows up. If he is 16 years old, he's going to be 16 years for the rest of his life.
Exactly.
Okay, so Pepsi is an 18-year-old brand. 18 till I die. Okay, but Pepsi is an irreverent, anti-establishment little student who turns around and does exactly the opposite of what her parents tell him to. Okay, so there's always a scrap in the house. What time do you get up? What time do you sleep? What kind of trousers are you wearing? Your butt crack is showing. You're sweeping the floor with the trousers. I mean, how can you show your butt crack to the bai? Because the bai says ABCD, which says Aga bai, chaddi dista, or something like that. I mean, there are so many jokes about it. But the fact is that is who Pepsi is. Every generation, Pepsi changes to appeal to young people because the brand is a young brand. A 40-year-old is not going to drink a Pepsi. A 40-year-old will drink a Coke, but he will not drink a Pepsi. Do you understand? And
Yes.
Pepsi believes in breaking rules. Nothing official about it. Was the first time they turned on and they didn't win a World Cup. They didn't win the advertising for the World Cup. They went into doom. They said, "Ab kya hoga hamara Kalia? We've lost the World Cup to Coke, and we are going to get wiped out." So this little trainee copywriter who became very big later on, her name was Chauhan. Okay, she said, "But if we are not official, why can't we be unofficial?" And everybody looked at her and said, "Shut up, you're talking rubbish," and moved on. And 15 minutes later, Viva Rishi said, "Wait, 1 second. This discussion is going nowhere. Ms. Chauhan, tell us what you said again. It sounded slightly different." So she says, "There's 60,000 people in the stadium. There's 60 lakh people outside the stadium. So why should you be inside the stadium and worry about what's happening to the people outside the stadium? Let's go to the people outside the stadium." So Viva says, "How are you going to do that?" He says, "Because we're not in the stadium. So we're not the official drink of the World Cup. We're the unofficial drink of the World Cup. So the guys who haven't been able to get into the stadium are the unofficial people, yeah? उनको ticket नहीं मिला, उनको जगह नहीं मिली, उनको कुछ नहीं मिला. What are they doing? They're watching.
At least Pepsi दे देंगे.
Exactly. तो हम Pepsi पियेंगे यार, we are unofficial, सब बाहर बैठे.
That is amazing. Yeah.
It was brilliant.
And
It was brilliant. It took Coke off the map. Nobody remembers the Coke campaign during that particular World Cup. They only remember Pepsi. Because we broke every rule in the book to get that air. We made films on each player. We made films on the entire team. We made a comedy which says cricket is a gentleman's game. They dress in white and they play the game as per gentlemen's rules. Now, people fight. They throw things at each other. They throw a bat at somebody. Remember that? What's his name? That Pakistani player who was the captain. Somebody called him an aloo and he ran into the stand with his bat to beat him.
Yeah.
So that's your World Cup. That's your 50 match. Kerry Packer, who invented the 50 over match, was abused by the traditionalists. They said you're ruining the game. What are you doing? I don't. So they abuse them. Said you're ruining the game. The game is a 5-day test match. How can you reduce it to 50 overs? So he said everybody is leaving the game. Nobody's watching cricket anymore. I want them back in the stadium. And he brought it down to 50 overs. And then the World Cup happened in 50 overs. And
now it's 20 overs.
20 overs. So, what's going to be next? I mean, it's now become like a football game. 20 overs is like a football game only.
The patience and attention span of people is reducing with
Correct.
each.
But you still find commentators saying that ये जो खेल रहा है ये लप्पेबाजी से नहीं खेल रहा है. He's playing the classic game and still scoring runs. So even if you're playing 20 overs, it doesn't mean that you go to a dhobi ghat and pick up a dhobi. Pitch the ball. You still have a classic player to play the ball with a straight bat.
Exactly. Exactly, sir.
Like Kohli, you can't get better than Kohli in terms of technique. He's not a slugger.
Somebody has written in Zamam ul Haq, the Pakistan captain you were referring to.
Yes.
Yes.
Alu, who they called Alu. Imtiaz ul Haq, correct. Somebody from the stands called him Alu and he took the bat and went running after the guy. I mean, that's your 50-50 thing. Do you think anybody would have done it in a test match?
Exactly. So, and I would like Madhupa ma'am to come in here because she had a question to ask.
Yes.
Yes, before I ask questions, can I play the professor's role?
Yes, please do. Wave your finger also.
Okay. So the waving the finger is that it's already 9 o'clock. And how long do we go? Because
until I run out of breath, and until we start losing our audience because they're bored.
We are losing a little bit of an audience.
The moment your audience starts getting bored, put a little ting out there, and I will immediately wrap it up.
Okay. Talking about you were talking about Pepsi. So my next question is in lieu of that. You were talking about Pepsi. You were talking about Sachin Tendulkar and all that. But we see too many usage of celebrities, and sometimes we wonder where has the creativity gone? Because do all brands need to ride the celebrity brigade? Isn't there anything else that we can do? And especially in Indian advertising, that is an often practiced thing.
See, the problem is that people use the celebrity as a shortcut. But we found, because we did so much Pepsi work and we found so many celebrities coming to us, and we had to keep the brand alive. And the brand was the hero of the film, not the celebrity. We had to work much harder on the creative, so that the storytelling became that the supporting cast was the celebrity. The main cast was the brand. Now, if you look at all the rest of the commercials, you'll find that in a celebrity-based ad, you don't remember the brand. You only remember the celebrity.
Absolutely.
If you look
sometimes we don't. Sometimes we forget what the brand is.
Correct. But if you look at the 90s of all the Pepsi ads, with every celebrity in the book, including film stars, the brand came across shining. There was no way that you could avoid thinking that this is a Pepsi commercial, even though we never showed anybody drinking the Pepsi. Right through the films, we made it a point that nobody drank Pepsi, because that was so.
Is it related to the brands are not interested in taking a risk?
No, it's a shortcut. They think that if you put a celebrity there, people will watch the film, and therefore, if people watch the film, then he holds up the brand.
It's the same thing as they don't want to take a risk and go in for a new creative content or something.
No, it's not a question of risk. They're taking a risk with the celebrity because they're spending over 5 crores on the celebrity. So that's a risk. But they think that it's a short thing. And the clients don't realize it's not short. The celebrity, remember, the brand is not. Nothing is short. unless your creative is very kadak, and if your creative does not come across as the brand being the hero or the brand being the main protagonist in your commercial, you're dead. You don't remember anything.
What video should we say here to drive your point?
See
Any of them?
you see any of the videos which are running on with celebrities right now? You don't remember anything of the ranks. You look at Mr. Who is the most seen celebrity?
No. I'm talking about your videos, the ones that you have selected. Which ones
Yes.
do we see where you can
See,
make your point?
any of them have a story. All of them have Pepsi in the center. So if you look at, say, the World Cup film with Shah Rukh, dressed up as Sachin trying to sneak into the World Cup. Have a look at that.
Hey, Bhaijaan.
Yeah.
This is a cricket ground. Okay.
Pepsi.
Hey, players only. Show, good play. Okay. Yes. Sachin, good morning, sir. Excuse me?
Excuse.
Huh?
ये सचिन क्या ढूंढ रहा है? हाँ, सौरभ, धीरे.
Saurabh?
Madam Sachin, you're on.
On? Hi, Sachin. Sachin. I'll take it from here. Thanks. Thanks. All the best.
So you see the brand from the beginning to the end, but not in your face. But the reason why it sneaks into that dressing room dressed up like Sachin is not to play cricket. He can't do it. Is to drink a Pepsi. That's his whole endeavor. And then he gets caught with the Pepsi in his hand, and they think he's Sachin, and he says, "Go on and bat." And he's shitting. He's saying, "Joel Garner, uske saath kahan batting karunga main?" And then when he sees Sachin, he's so relieved. He says, Sachin, you can take it from here, and try to give him the bat. Sachin grabs the Pepsi and goes back. Now, remember one thing, that wasn't in the original script. That was Sachin's idea. So in the original script, Sachin is supposed to take the bat and say, "Don't worry, I'll take it from here." Okay? But Sachin said, "Yeah, why should I take the bat? Let me take the Pepsi now. I'm also a Pepsi fan. So why can't I take the Pepsi?" He says, "Okay, fine, let's do it." And rang up Vibha and said, "We are changing the end of the script, film." So what are you going to do? He says, Sachin says that he wants to take the Pepsi, not the bat. So she said, "Fine." And we were actually changing shots and scripts on the set because Vibha believed in us so much. She said, "You think it's okay? We think it's fine. And it's a great idea. And it's not our idea, it's Sachin's idea." So just imagine.
That is an amazing story, sir.
Priti, your next question.
Yes, sir. So my next question to you would be that, like we were talking before about the Tanishq advertisement being backlashed because of the social media comments and everything. So, do you think that is social media a boon or a drawback for advertising?
It depends on how you use it. If you're going to use it for an agenda, it can be very effective because you drown out all sensibility. Okay, your share of voice is so high and so strident that anybody who's making sense out of it doesn't say, "Yeah, chup baitho hai." These are all trollers, they're gundas, they're this, that, they're threatening you with rape, they're threatening you with ruining your shops, they're threatening with burning your showrooms. I mean, what kind of people are these? So somebody has to actually figure out who are these people. Is it real
Exactly.
or is it paid for? And until you understand that, social media will always be a big question mark because it can be used by all the wrong people for all the wrong things.
Yes, sir, exactly. I completely agree with you. And before moving on to the audience questions, my
I've
question
got
to
one
you
more. I
would
want
be
to show you one more film with a story, which says
okay.
There was when Cadbury's first started advertising in India, They were relatively nondescript because they were talking about this premium imported product called chocolate. Chocolate. Okay, in this very British accent. So, a small copywriter who had just left the tea gardens as a tester came in, joined copywriting, and he said, "Meri Hindi bahut achhi hai." So they made him a translator. They didn't make him a copywriter. They said, "Tu translate kar. Original ideas will come in English. Tu sirf baith ke translate kar." So he was a little upset and all. So he decided to take this campaign for Cadbury. He says, "Let me write it in Hindi." So he wrote it in Hindi, and they went for the client meeting. The client turned around and said, "Nobody's going to buy this idea. Firstly, we don't want Hindi because Hindi is down market. Because only the plebeians understand Hindi. Okay, the elite only talk in English." So he kept very quiet because he talked in Hindi and he dreamt in Hindi, and that is more important than talking in Hindi. He turned around and told them that your market share is 3%. Okay? Don't you want to increase that market share? So they said, "How do you know my market share is 3%? He says, "I don't have to research it. It's common sense. We have a festival called Diwali. Okay? In Diwali, we give one tokri of mithais to our most loved people and our most valued people. Okay? Now you look into the tokri. You see what is in the tokri. So I'll show you a tokri." So he brought a tokri and he showed it to him. He says, "इमरती है, बर्फी है, लड्डू है, ये है, वो है, चॉकलेट भी है, but चॉकलेट कितना है? 3% of that tokri was chocolate, but that was also because they said कितनी kind of बर्फी डालेंगे, काजू बर्फी डालेंगे, चॉकलेट बर्फी डालेंगे, ये डालेंगे, but बहुत हो गया, अभी थोड़ा चॉकलेट भी डाल दो, okay, नाम के वास्ते, but that's 3%. And he said they don't call it chocolate, they call it chocolate. That is your market. So
Exactly.
they said, they sort of went into a little huff and they said, "Ye bakwas kar raha hai." So they told him, "Nahi, yeah, the script that you have written is not going to fly because nobody will do this." So he says, "I'm sorry. If you don't believe that I am Indian, I know Indians, I know my work, I'm a professional. If you don't value my opinion, then I'm not going to work on your brand. So I'm leaving." So he picked up his bag and is leaving. They all got shocked. So how can he do that? This is insulting to us, you know.
Exactly.
So all the suits from MBAs and all ran after him and said, "Arey, kya kar raha hai? We lose the account." He said, "Kya kar raha hu? They don't respect my professionalism. Why should I listen to them?" "Nahi, to वापस आना." So they dragged him back, and the client tried to turn around and said, "Okay, we'll do it, but we will research it before we release it. So you do it. Let's see what happens. We'll prove you wrong." So he made this film. Okay?
Yeah, I would request.
Yes, it changed Cadbury's forever. Forever. And the name of the copywriter was Piyush Pandey.
Yes, definitely. We know that. And
so let's see it.
let's see the advertisement. I would request the team to play it. Yeah.
I'm sure you never saw this film because this was 20 years old. But let's see what you all think of it.
कुछ खास है हम सभी में, कुछ बात है हम सभी में, बात है खास है, कुछ स्वाद है, क्या स्वाद है जिंदगी में।
Cadbury's Dairy Milk, असली स्वाद जिंदगी का.
Great. Now, let me tell you what the client said about the script. And he said that no Indian girl, this is 20 years ago I'm talking about. This is when your mothers were young.
Yeah.
Okay? So, he said no Indian woman is going to do what she did. Firstly, she wore a frock, which was very Bombay. Okay? Then she had a bob cut. Okay? Then she wore lipstick. Okay? And then she danced wildly in the middle of a cricket field. Kaun karega? The client said, "Show me one Indian woman who is willing to do this." So Piyush said, advertising is not about people who are willing to do it. Advertising is what people dream about. Because if you dream about this woman, how will you dream about this woman if you don't know if she exists? If you see her in the Cadbury's commercial, she's going to become everybody's dream. So they'll never in
Exactly.
their lifetimes have the courage to do what she did. But they will dream about it and say, I wish I could do it. And it was
Exactly.
true. So advertising is not about realism to such an extent that ye karenge ke nahi karenge. Advertising is all about hope. Advertising is all about a promise. So every woman who was tested by seeing this film at your mother's generation said, I would not do this, but by God, she lives inside me.
Yeah.
So it became a women-centric film without even attempting to do that. And you know why it did that? Because when they saw her, the original script, she runs onto the field. And when they saw her running onto the field, they said, "Isme dam nahi hai. Kuch aur karo." So they asked her, "Tu naach sakti hai? Can you dance?" She said, "Yeah, of course I can dance." She said, "Can you dance onto the field?" She said, "But without music, without choreography, nothing. What do you mean?" So they said, "Okay, we'll get you music." So they got her a boombox and they said, "Okay, we'll put on some music." She said, "But what are the steps?" She said, "Whatever you want." So these were steps made by the girl in her own mind.
Yeah.
Okay, so she did this wild kind of dance. There was no steps to it. And everybody clapped on the set. And then they said, "Can you do it again?" She said, "Yes." She did it again. 20 times she did it. And every time it was worse than the first time.
Yes.
Okay, because it took the spontaneity out of it. So finally they used the first take. Okay, because there was magic in it. There was a magic in it which jumped out of the screen and touched everybody in the heart, especially women.
Exactly.
So this film was probably the most watched film that Cadbury's has ever made to date.
Yeah, and 20 years ago, making such a, even though not intentionally, but a woman-centric advertisement is a revolution in itself. So, with that, we would like to move on to the questions from
Okay,
the
now you
audience.
want to see a story? You want to see what kind of stories you can write on film, on ads, where a product is never seen? See the next one. See the Ericsson ad. I can't hear the sound.
Voice is not there.
Where is the sound?
I'm sorry. Yeah, voice is not, sound is not there.
Hello?
Sometimes,
Yes, sir.
sometimes there are technical glitches. These
Always.
softwares are not so foolproof,
Always
and we are all
remember that there is something which you have to teach your students for life. And you have to constantly remind them that there is a God called Murphy.
Hello.
Murphy.
What are you doing tonight?
Me?
Join me for dinner.
Sure.
See you at 8. One black coffee, please.
Ericsson mobile phones. Surprisingly smooth.
So there you are. See the hero of the ad, regardless of the fact that you don't see the phone till the end, you'll never forget it.
Yes, exactly. Because of both the humor and the embarrassment element.
No, the whole works. And it works on
Yeah.
one simple principle. So every man above the age of 15 gets up every morning, has a bath, has a shave, puts on his best shirt or t-shirt or whatever, and looks into the mirror and says, "Today is going to be your lucky day." Puts on his aftershave lotion and goes out. Right? If he didn't think it was his lucky day, and if he turned to aaj kuch nahi hone wala, he'd go back to sleep. Why would he get up out of bed?
Exactly.
So all the guys who are watching, remember, every day is your lucky day.
So we have our principal service here with us here, Professor Dr. Gaur Banerjee. I would like to invite him in.
Of course.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, Mr. Prahlad Kakar.
How are you?
I have seen you earlier. I have heard you throughout. As the principal of the Heritage Academy, I feel privileged to say you are really too much. You are really mesmerizing. not only in your talk, but also your creativity that matters. Mr. Kakkar is an Indian film director, Indian ad film director, best known for his work on famous Pepsi TV commercial with Mr. Amitabh Bachchan and Sachin Tendulkar. He is the founder.
Yes.
He is the founder and main director of Genesis Film Productions.
Good.
Sir, our students of media science are organizing from the beginning. This is the 4th edition of Ad Adda. It is being organized by the media science students. They have always that tendency to do something new, something different, and they are exhibiting their creativity in every sphere. I would like to also thank Dr. Madhupa Bakshi, Dean Media Science, for giving total support to the students and the team of faculty and staff and the senior batch of students as well to make such a colorful and eventful event. The program, to me, it is one of the most successful program from the very beginning, and this being the 4th edition. Sir, we are not only thankful, we are really grateful to you. Sir,
you.
I would like to see you in the campus if you come to Kolkata, and
love
that
to
will
come.
be a great privilege on our part to welcome.
As you know,
Thank
I'm
you,
a
sir.
Jamai. As you know, I'm a Jamai, so I would love to come to Calcutta. I'm what they call a Jamai Babu. Can you hear me?
Yes.
He's-
In
he's-
Bengal, we call it Jamai Babu. Yes,
Jamai Babu, and they
He's
gave me
married.
a Mudu Gonto
exactly.
on my wedding
He's
day.
married to a Bengali. He's married to a Bengali, and he loves cooking. He knows quite a lot of Bengali cuisine also.
Not only that,
Great,
but
great.
when I went to my in-laws for the first time, and all my life I've heard from them that they are cultured and I'm agricultured.
And I have seen the creative people has a talent in various fields.
True. Cooking is as creative as anything else. Don't worry.
No, he does. He's more than talented. He does scuba diving. He does cooking. He does filmmaking. So one wonders that if one gets into advertising, how many skill sets does one need?
In advertising, you need all the skill tests because you have to be the king of trivia. If you don't read, if you don't watch, if you don't look at other people's work, you will never learn. So what you learn in college is only a small part of what you really know. And what you really know is the part that you never use, because 90% of your brain is just storing information and never uses it until you are creatively challenged. When you are creatively challenged, that 90% of your brain kicks in with all the rubbish that you've actually accumulated through your life. And it's not rubbish because it gives you original ideas. Rubbish is what you learn by logic. 2 and 2 is equal to 4. Yes, ma'am. 10 on 10. And when you turn out that 2 and 2 is equal to 22, you get 0.
Very well explained. I'm impressed.
But one of my colleagues, Professor Shinde, is asking, well,
Yes.
what about the conscience? What about the conscience? You are talking about creativity. Just creativity does have a conscience, or is it
No,
always breaking rules?
the conscience is the individual's prerogative. So some individuals are much more conscious than others, and some individuals are not. And therefore, they use their creativity without a conscience. Like Himmler used Pavlovian theories without a conscience. Okay? A lot of people who use the same Pavlovian theories use it with a conscience. So Pavlov, in my opinion, was the father of all propaganda. Whether it's advertising, whether it's political, whether it's dogmatic, whether it's anything else.
So you mean to say, even if I do a social advertising, if I say people wear masks, I have to have a bait?
No, of course you have to have a bait. If you just say wear mask, people will say, "Ah, ठीक है, उसको पहनने दो, हम क्यों पहने?" When you turn around and say, if you don't wear a mask, you are jeopardizing your parents, you are jeopardizing everybody in your family, you are jeopardizing people in other people's families without even knowing it. So who cares about you? You can get COVID and die. We don't care. But what are the number of people you're going to give it to who are innocent? Because you're not wearing a mask. So the pap of all their diseases also comes on you. Are you willing to bear that pap?
I would have loved this session to go on. It looks like when you come to Calcutta, we will have a whole day with you. We have a lovely auditorium.
Yes, sir, please.
We have a lovely auditorium.
As long as you don't give me Mudu Ghonto.
Oh, that is you have to, because you're a Bengali Jamai. Quintessential Jamai should have Muri Ghonto. How can't you don't have a Muri?
I will have the Ilish. I will even take the katas out with my tongue. But no Mudu Ghonto.
Oh, no Muri Ghonto. But I remember you taught me some Western cuisine, and you were talking about your veshti. You just went away talking about how good your veshti was. So
it's called.
No, what about Bangali Punjabi, Dhuti Punjabi? Why veshti?
No, but dhoti.
No, I agree with sir.
Dhoti is excellent. The Bengali dhoti, because it also allows a lot of circulation of air. It depends on how tight your underwear is.
No, dhoti is beautiful. It has got frills. It's got if that typical Bengali dhuti has that.
Yeah, absolutely.
What do you say?
That's all surface. But the real value of a Bengali dhoti is that it allows air to circulate and keeps your mind cold. Do you know that it is scientifically been proved that if your nether regions are cool, your mind is cool?
That you only know. Why are you going to science? You said creative people don't need to go to science, and you're now going to science.
You need to know about trivia. You need to know little about everything. You should be able to engage with anybody on their field and not on your field.
Oh, that also reminds me. He talked about chamber music at that time. Yes, I remember a conversation with him in the dinner, and he was talking about chamber music. So just look at his range of knowledge from cuisine. Maybe.
I'm the champion of trivia. Don't worry. You ask me anything about anything, I'll tell you.
We would have loved to go on and on. All those videos, we would have. You're explaining so well. That it would be worth.
I don't know. Run all the videos, and then we'll go back to. We'll come to the end of the conversation when I explain the video. Run all the balance ones that are left, and watch for the Google one most, because that has the strongest story. It's not 30 seconds; it's about 50 seconds. But what a story they've given in that amount of time.
ये यूसुफ लंगोटिया यार सी मेरा लाहौर में हमारे घर के सामने एक बड़ा बाग था। उस बाग का गेट बाबा आदम पुराने। रोज शाम को हमने वहां पतंगे उड़ानी और उसके बाद जाके यूसुफ के दुकान से झझरिया चुरा के खानी।
झझरिया?
मेरा साहब नमस्ते। नमस्ते, मेरी पोती मुंबई वाली। और बेटे क्या हाल चाल है?
बचपने की तंग गली फिर से कूद फांदे, छोटी छोटी मीठी चोरी गांठ लेके बांधे।
हेलो अस्सलाम वालेकुम।
फाजिल स्वीट्स?
हाँ जी। दादाजान, दिल्ली से किसी की कॉल है।
हेलो,
यूसुफ अंकल?
कौन?
जी मैं सुमन बोल रही हूँ दिल्ली से, आपके बचपन के दोस्त बलदेव जी की पोती। याद है बचपन में आप दोनों झझरिया चुरा के खाते थे?
बचपने की तंग गली फिर से कूद फांदे, छोटी छोटी मीठी चोरी गांठ लेके बांधे। एक पतंग सा उड़ता था परिंदों की तरह, परिंदों की तरह, परिंदों की तरह। एक दौर था मन मन मोर था, एक दौर था मन मन मोर था।
पार्टीशन के वक्त हम रातों रात हिंदुस्तान आ गए।
दादू
यूसुफ जी बड़ी आजादी।
कागजों की कश्तियों में डूबा रहता था, झांकती खिड़कियों में उलझा रहता था। वो भी क्या दौर था, मन पे न जोर था। एक दौर था मन मन मोर था, एक दौर था मन मन मोर था।
भैया थोड़ा जल्दी।
मन मोर।
हाँ जी, कौन? हैप्पी बर्थडे यारा। यूसुफ ओए यूसुफ, मेरे बल्लू ओए, यूसुफ यार।
Such a beautiful ad. Absolutely.
Really beautiful.
And how beautifully Google has been entwined into it without it being in your face. And right through the film, they're using Google to find each other, to find the Jajaria shop, to find the how to get a visa, to find what the weather is like in Delhi, whether it's raining or not, to bring an umbrella or not. You know, I mean, you look at the amount of product information that has gone into the story of two friends who just want to meet each other. So at the end of it, you will never forget Google. You will never forget the characters. The film will be indelibly. 20 years from now, I'll show you this film and you'll turn around and say, wow.
Yes! Oops. और कुछ चलेगा?
नहीं, पेप्सी नहीं है तो।
ना ना, no problem. यही है right choice, baby.
You okay in there?
ये ले Pepsi.
That must be Sanju.
Sanju?
Hi, I'm Sanjana. Got another Pepsi?
Sure.
Okay, now this film was also a tricky film because this film was made more or less the same way in America 10 years before this film was made. And it was called Apartment 10G. And because the apartment's number is 10G, so the film was called Apartment 10G. So we used the same number on our apartment. The only difference that we said was that if we make the film badly, people are going to turn around and say, what a bunch of idiots, they couldn't even copy the film. And if we made the film properly, they'd say, they copied it. So it's a no-win kind of situation. So I said the only difference that we are going to make to this film is the casting. And if you don't listen to our casting, we will not make the film. So my casting was Amer because he had just done his first film, his launch film.
Qayamat Se Qayamat Tak.
QSQT or whatever it's called.
QSQT, yeah.
And we found Aishwarya. We were looking for lots of models and we found Aishwarya and we looked at her and said, wow, we found it. So we video tested her with wet hair and all and sent it to them. I took it to them in Delhi. And the clients are used to having 3 or 4 choices. So they looked at her and said, okay, she's nice. Next. I said, there's no next. So they said, you're not giving us a choice. I said, just remember, they don't make them in twos. So you'll never get another Aishwarya in the next 20 years. So just live with her. So they bought it. But you have to be very clear in your own mind. I was very clear. I said, listen, I am right now a casting director. I'm not the director of the film because somebody's already made this film. So on this particular film, my role is casting it so that it becomes an Indian experience and doesn't remain an American experience. And that is exactly what we did. We cast the film, and the best part of this film is the casting. Trust me.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir. I think each advertisement has a backstory behind it, and since you're sharing each of the story with us, like we are also learning from each of them. So thank you so much.
Film? Do you know who made the Google film? His name is Amit Sharma, and he made a film called Badai Ho.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Exactly. And it's a great story.
But we just previous Ambi Parmeshwar was talking about Nitin Tiwari. He is the maker of Dangal.
Correct.
Yes,
correct.
another great storyteller. So see, all of them start in advertising, right?
Correct.
So advertising people are great storytellers.
If you're good at advertising, then you learn to tell a story in 30 seconds. And if you can tell a story in 30 seconds, you can tell a story in 2 hours.
Wow.
Exactly.
Before we move on from the live, what would be your message today to all the students, to all the people who are listening to you right now?
Okay. Advertising has 3 pillars to it. Only one of them is creative. The other 2 pillars are bricks and mortar, which is marketing, numbers, understanding markets, understanding research, how to research, when to pick the research, where to pick the research, how to reject the research. Okay, creative people are yahoos. They don't listen to anybody. They don't listen to logic. They don't listen to discipline. They don't listen to seniority. They don't listen to anybody. Okay, so they are little animals within the agency who everybody tries to control. They are the dreamers. They are called lucid dreamers. You know why lucid dreamers? You know what lucid dreaming is, ma'am?
No.
Yeah.
Lucid dreaming is a characteristic of a person who cannot make the difference out between dreaming and reality. So his dreams are his reality, and his reality are his dreams. So it's seamless. You can't divide them. Oh, I had a dream, and oh, this is real. To him, his dreams and his reality are exactly the same. He can't find a distance. That is a creative person, because he lives his dreams every single day of his life, and he shares them with you. And when a dreamer shares his dreams, then you'll find lots of takers, because everybody has dreams, but they don't have the courage to follow the dreams. They try and forget them. So when they wake up, they say, I had a very nice dream. I was very successful. I made lots of money, but I've forgotten the dream. And that's very convenient, because it's so difficult to remember your dreams and be so frustrated in what you're doing because you're not following your dream. So your dreams tell you, chuck up all this mundane stuff. Get out there and follow your dreams. And the creative people actually turn around and translate that dream into an advertising and say, this is your dream, follow it. Buy this.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir.
Shruti, thank everybody. And let us end the day. The technical team, ABP Education Group.
Yes. So I would like to thank...
Please look up lucid dreaming.
It's
a very important characteristic of creative people.
Okay, so all the creative people out there, you heard, sir, please look up lucid dreaming. And before we end the session today, I would like to thank our technical team, Arun sir, Amatya, and Shubhajit sir. I would like to thank all our... Tamal sir. Tamal sir and also ABP Education for supporting us and helping us throughout this session. I would also like to thank our speakers who have been a part of this journey and taught students a lot of things over these 2 days. Thank you so much, each and every one of you all. Principal sir and Madhuppa ma'am for being pillar of support throughout and encouraging us to conduct something like this and move forward with the idea of Ad Adda. Thank you, each and every one of y'all. This is Smriti Srinivasan signing off.